Something that comes up for me and many of my neurodivergent clients is recognizing the importance of social connection. And many of us are content on our own, and I would never want to challenge that. I myself, as an introvert, like to spend most of my time on my own. I recharge. I like to engage in quality time activities with my dogs or with myself, doing a hobby or a passion, something that I find restorative, enriching, helps me level up my knowledge about a certain area, or allows me to indulge in a passion. It brings such enrichment to my life that I would never want to forgo that. And at the same time, I recognize even though I am built different as a neurodivergent, I'm still a human being, and I still need some form of connection with other people. Companionship, camaraderie, connection, mutual understanding, normalization and validation of my experiences, an opportunity to share what I'm passionate about with other people, to be heard, and also to learn about other people and their passions as well. And I think as a neurodivergent, we're often deterred from engaging in that because we've had a series of negative experiences early on in our development, and maybe that continues into our adulthood. And we just think, okay, well, I do prefer my own company, so I'm just resigned to accept that's the safest thing for me. We are traumatized. We have complex trauma as a result of being targeted and marginalized because of our neurodivergent identity. Whether we were diagnosed or not, we were different, we stood out, and people made it known that we were different. And maybe they behaved in such a way that we developed shame scripts about our own inherent unlovability or unworthiness because we're neurodivergent, because we're different. And we talk ourselves into a corner where we're like, okay, because I like being on my own, because I haven't had success, because I don't want to get re-traumatized or harmed by unsuccessful social interactions with people who reject me because of who I am, I'm just going to, lean into my interest. I'm just going to roll with what I like and not come out of that box and stick with what's comfortable. And that's all well and good. But I think majority of us, not everybody, but majority of us do get lonely at some point. And our pets can kind of fill that void and keep us companion in some ways, but not in the same way a human being can. They can provide many things that human beings often don't provide us with, like, quiet, an opportunity to play, just close companionship without putting too many demands on us or our faculties. No social pressure because we don't have to talk to them necessarily. We don't have to engage in small talk or reciprocal social interactions. Or the social interactions that we do engage in, they're easily reciprocated because there's no complexity to it. Like, you throw a toy for a dog and the dog goes and gets it and the dog brings it back. It's pretty easy to wrap our heads around, compared to like doing social grooming when we're in social interactions and knowing that we have to say this thing or that thing or do this thing to kind of appease that person or make sure they feel important or heard, right? And it's okay that you're content on your own, but then I question, are you content on your own because you've learned to make do with very little? And I'm not saying that being on your own is insufficient or not enough. It is to some extent in terms of us being a complex human being with multiple needs that isolation or self-care alone cannot meet. And for many years, I was content with being, on my own and accepting my own companionship because it meant I didn't have to forego my comfort, my safety for the possible danger and rejection that comes with social interactions. And I've since learned that as much as I am content on my own, I grow as a person and I find a lot of social interactions fulfilling, in small doses for sure, but I find they bring a lot to my life. They teach me about the world, about other people, other people's needs, how they think, how they work, what kind of lives are lived by other people. It's enriching in a way that I can't get exclusively from listening to podcasts or reading audiobooks or listening to an audiobook or reading a traditional book, right? On my own, which I do a lot of. So how are you with being content on your own? Have you made peace with being isolated, spending all your spare time away from other people? Have you felt that loneliness and that desire to connect with other people? And have you been able to find community and companionship? Have you been able to challenge yourself to come out of your comfort zone after a history that was traumatizing and painful, and to give people a shot again? And have you been able to have success in terms of finding like-minded people who share your worldview, your value system, some common interests, people you connect with on many levels? I would love to hear all about your experiences.